those that are
All
just
aboard the hype train. I'm
Yeah.
pulling that part in the train that makes it go whoo, whoo. I don't know what part that is because I don't give a fuck about trains, but it makes a sound.
the sound maker thingy.
It's the whistle lever.
ALPHANUMERIC. ReBoot.
You're prepared for a giant monster made entirely of nulls stomping around mainframe? Andrea, Enzo was trying to be funny. What's a good ad? Goofy. You can't talk in these things.
An icosahedron.
Icosahedron every day.
Sometimes twice a day.
Celebrations, Binomes. Welcome to episode 44 of Alphanumeric, the world's foremost reboot podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Christopher Siege, and I am joined by the lovely Lady Glitch.
What's up, guys?
And my friend and colleague, NeoCal.
And I'm here.
This week on Alphanumeric, we are talking, finally talking about the fourth season of ReBoot. It's been a long time coming. At the time of recording, it is January 3rd of 2022, and we finished off season 3, back in August, I believe?
End of
August of 2021.
It's been 84 years.
84.
84 nanoclicks.
There we go. It's been 84 nanoclicks.
Yeah, it's been a minute. We did do a couple of really good episodes of Alphanumeric last month, though, in January, that I was a big fan of. Got a lot of positive feedback too. We did a Christmas themed episode where we played the ReBoot mainframe board game, which was a lot of fun. We exchanged presents, which was also a lot of fun. Who doesn't like getting presents?
I cleaned house with the game and giving you guys presents, and I flew all the way out to Victoria to do it. So
yeah, specifically just to record that episode. It's the only reason. Lady Glitch.
Spare no expense.
Yeah, everything for the podcast. God damn it!
And we had started planning that trip back in September too.
That's right.
Yeah, so 3 months later, I executed everything and spent a wonderful week with my guardians. It was great.
Yep. Yeah. You pulled everything together really quickly.
Yeah, everything really just fell into place with planning, with the hotel, the flights, everything, and I managed to get everything that I need. So, gotta do it again real soon.
Hopefully sooner rather than later, because we have more podcasting to do. God damn it!
Yeah,
yeah.
Come on.
Let's start looking up flights right now while we're recording. Let's
go. This week on Alphanumeric, we're like I said, we're talking about the first episode of the fourth season of ReBoot. God damn it! I don't know why I was fumbling my words there.
Daemon rising.
Our episodes are so long.
I'm just getting fluttered at the thought of you coming back here. I'm like, oh.
Aw.
Okay. Enough of that.
Cal is just like, oh, for Christ's sake, shut up.
I don't care.
Like our de facto chaperone between Christopher and
I've got some secret intel that I probably only mentioned 4 or 5 times on the show. This is the first time I've seen season 4. There's been a time gap, I believe, between season 3 and 4.
There was,
and a lot of people aged out of the show, not just me.
I was definitely one of them. I didn't see season 4 of ReBoot until years later. Season 3 ended in early 1998, so I was 13. Season 4 aired at the end of 2001. So I was I was almost 17 by that point.
You were watching TV?
No, I was out getting drunk with my friends and getting into fights and doing all that fun stuff. Doing
all the renegade stuff.
doing all the badass renegade stuff that I did when I was younger. I want to make a little announcement though. I want to get something out of the way, in case it hasn't been super obvious to anyone who's followed the past couple of episodes of Alphanumeric. Me and Lady Glitch, Christina, we're dating. So that's a thing.
Breaking up the dynamic. Dogs getting along with cats. What's going on here?
The bees are buzzing around and all
The
that
bees, the
shit. The bees,
the birds,
the bunnies.
the bunnies,
And they're eye lasering everything.
their eye lasers. Freaking sharks with freaking laser beams on their freaking heads. Oh, that's kind of
That's kind of actually what wasn't there a character like that in the Japanese Beast Wars, which we covered on we covered a Japanese animated Beast Wars movie on me and Cal's other mainframe adjacent podcast, Too Much Energon, where we do this, where we talk about Beast Wars. I believe there was a shark.
there was a shark with freaking laser beams on his freaking head, but it wasn't Cyber Shark.
No, it wasn't. It looked a lot like Cyber Shark though.
A little, yeah. Can't quite remember what his name was.
Hellscream. Hellscream. That's I'm
There you
pretty
go.
sure it's Hellscream.
There you go.
think.
Hellscream. Oh, and if anybody's just here for the reboot, Christopher and I do a lot of Beast Wars.
We
And I-
we talked a lot of shit about Beast Wars.
There you go.
We love it. And
Saying that I need to do like a fresh viewing of season 1, episode 1 of Beast Wars and just do like a live react to it.
yeah, next time you come up to Victoria, or perhaps when I come to visit you down in Savannah, I'll definitely we'll definitely watch the 2-part premiere of
Okay.
Beast Wars, because I want you I want to see your reaction to one of my favorite shows of all time.
Mm-hmm.
There's a reason why I podcast about it, damn it.
Oh,
we're not talking about Beast Wars today. No.
Yeah.
And you said you never saw Reboot season 4 until years later. I never saw Reboot season 4 until today.
Oh.
Because I have not seen any of it.
Now I watched it when it came out in 01. So I was 14 at the time. And I remember being super hyped for this. And then, as you guys will find out in the episodes to come, what my real feelings are about this, whether it be good or bad or
Okay.
golden. But I did watch it when it
was-
was released down here in the States.
I always forget that I'm older than you. Because it's
Speaking
like,
of which, we have a birthday in the house. It is January 3rd, and our illustrious producer, Christopher Siege himself, is turning 37.
that's me.
Sorry.
That's
Happy
him.
Hooray.
Woo, confetti.
Hooray. I'm 1 year closer to 40.
Existential dread. Existential dread.
Crisis.
I've been having a lot of that lately, but no, I'm actually I love my birthday. I think like birthdays in general are a big deal to me. So take note, anyone, if you ever want to ask a favor of me, if it's on your birthday, and this like even goes for like people I don't like, like someone, even if like I don't like a person, like they can come to me and be like, hey, can you do me this favor? Oh, if it's something birthday related, like if I have like a coworker or something that I can't stand, they come to me and are like, hey, can you switch shifts because this day is my birthday? I'll be like, all right. Yep. Okay.
So what you're saying is, just like the Godfather's daughter's wedding,
on this, the day of his daughter's wedding. Yeah. Oh,
With
I see
birth-
where you're going with this. Yeah.
the Godfather's daughter's wedding is kind of like you with birthdays. You'll be sitting there in like a chair, and as long as it's to do with their birthday, your birthday, or something, somebody comes to you with like a request you cannot deny.
I cannot deny. They do have to kiss my ring, though.
They have to kiss your ring. They have to refer to you as the siege father.
The Dawn.
The Dawn, yeah. And there will be a day, and that day may never come, but there will be a day where you come to collect on that favor.
Yeah. Make them an offer they can't refuse.
Yeah. So good to know. File that away, listeners and viewers. That if you ever want some sort of like grand favor from the siege, the birthday is the time to do it.
Yep. But yeah, so birthdays are in general are just they're a big deal to me. So I joke about being like, oh, just 1 year closer to 40. But no, I'm actually pretty excited. Don't really have any plans, but other than doing this. But it's literally like I was saying this to someone yesterday. I was like, literally all I asked of anyone was just like, to break it down, like basically like all I asked of anyone for my birthday this year was to just talk to me. Essentially do shows with me.
Yeah. Come and do shows. God dang it. Gosh dang it.
And I'm like, when you put it that way, like it sounds a little sad, but it's not the way I mean it.
No, it's spending time.
Exactly, yeah. That's all I wanted was company from some of my favorite people.
And here we are.
And here we are.
Born to be kings.
Born to be kings. Welcome to the abuse that is referencing Metal Gear Solid, Highlander, and what's another? Sean Connery in general.
Star Trunk.
Star Trunk. Oh, she knows the Star Trunk. She's been subject to that horrendous.
Yeah, and I don't know if Lady Glitch mentioned this on air or if this was during our preamble, which you can listen to if you go to patreon.com/lasercomb. But this is the first time that Lady Glitch is coming onto this podcast at the beginning of a season.
But for those listeners and viewers, I was asked back in May of 21 to join as a guest host on season 3, episode 7, which is number 7. And it was just like this format. It was the 3 of us doing it. And eventually I upgraded from guest to full-time host right before my birthday. So best birthday present ever in June of 21. And I've just been kind of here ever since. So
just couldn't get rid of her.
Nope.
Tracked us down in the flesh too.
How dare.
You liked it.
Yep.
Siege and Lady Glitch, you both are familiar with season 4.
Oh yeah.
Imagine my surprise. And yet it shouldn't have been when Daemon was French.
Yeah. She's a seemingly meek, quiet little French girl, very soft spoken, and she's a fucking super virus.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? She doesn't seem all that bad.
Nope.
Yeah, she just wants to spread the word.
Yeah.
I don't know what the word is. I mean, have you heard?
I heard the word.
Bird is the word, as I'm told.
I'm led to believe that bird is the word. I'm on the edge of my seat wondering if bird is the word watching this show.
You will find out in due time, good sir.
So the first episode of season 4 of ReBoot, Daemon Rising. It originally aired on October 19th, 2001, and on November 18th, or in the US, and November 18th of 2001 in Canada. Now, here's a thing to point out that's probably going to blow some minds of some US listeners. ReBoot season 4 wasn't a season in Canada per se. It was 2 TV movies that aired a week apart. So, in syndication, it got broken up. In the US, it aired as individual episodes, but in Canada, it wasn't until it was put into syndication that the 2 movies got broken up into 4 episodes. And the names of the movies were the first one was Daemon Rising, and the second one was My Two Bobs, which is also episode names. Now, for audio listeners, Lady Glitch is holding up a DVD that I gave her of season 4 of ReBoot, the Canadian version, where it's presented as 2 TV movies.
Yes, it is.
without getting too ahead of myself, I think season 4 works better as a couple TV movies as individual episodes. I'm granted so far I've only as individual episodes watched the first 2 of season 4, but I think season 4 works better as movies. And with all that out of the way, let's get into talking about the episode.
All right, let's go.
This episode was written by Ian Pearson, Gavin Blair, and friend of Lasercomb production show Too Much Energon, Ian Weir, who we actually interviewed back in September, I believe. So go check that out. It was part of episode 57 of Too Much Energon, which was our big like Beast Wars 25th anniversary spectacular. But I ended up releasing it as a separate episode a couple of like last month.
If you just want to watch the
if you just want to hear the
what a joy.
Interview. Yeah,
what a great dude.
Yeah, great guy. So shout out to Ian Weir.
And so starts with a flashback.
Yes, it does.
Dot, gotta say, a fan of whatever she's got going on here.
She's got some 1992 action going on.
She's got some like late 80s, early 90s, like, you know, listens to David Bowie and like Ziggy Stardust kind of. She's, oh man, great design. Great design. And their voices are a little bit different too.
Yeah, of course they're younger, so their voices are going to be slightly higher pitched. But she's standing there with little Enzo, her little brother, and Puppy Frisket.
Oh, Puppy Frisket.
It's so cute. I want one.
And what's her outfit going on here, Lady Glitch? Because I'm digging it.
It looks very 80s, very colorful. We've got the hair going on. It's very retro. She's even got like I don't even know what you would call those glasses. I don't wear glasses, but like almost half moon glasses ish going on.
Type reading glasses that sit down. Yeah.
Her outfit makes me want to listen to the song Twilight Zone by 2 Unlimited.
Yeah.
She's got multiple earrings going on. Her hair is multiple colors. She's wearing a dress with a belt on top that's loosely hanging. Fishnets.
Like, I love it.
She's got a thigh tattoo, ladies and gentlemen. No one told me that Dot had a thigh tattoo.
Yeah, it's right there.
What is it? Can y'all see? Is it a heart?
It's a heart with an arrow through it.
Well, I mean, we saw in season 3 that she has a tattoo on her arm.
Assuming she got that when she was older, but maybe she's always had it.
I don't know.
It's possible, or she's just going through a teenage rebellious phase right now. She's just inking herself up.
I mean, that's what I did.
Where's her Highlander tattoo is what I want to ask.
Like the one that I have.
Yeah. So very quickly, we realize that things are interrupted. She's still organized.
Oh, yeah.
She's a doer.
Data pad on her. She's delegating orders to her people because they're building Dot's Diner over.
Presumably the first time.
Yes.
One of many times they rebuilt this freaking diner. And we realized that Mainframe was twice as big.
Yeah, there was the
like literally twice as big. I didn't know that.
Yep, there was a separate city over there. And we refer
with its
back
own
to
principal office.
Yep, in season 2, when Bob first mentions the disaster from the Twin Cities, and we are about to see what that disaster is.
I didn't realize it was a whole huge like other mainframe right next to it.
Right, that was the episode. I believe it was the episode that introduced Andrea. And I remember when me and Cal recorded that episode of the podcast. Me and Snidler were kind of like tap dancing around, like, because I if I recall correctly, like listeners, this was a long time ago that we recorded this episode.
Yeah,
but I remember Cal being like, "Oh, what is this about a twin city?" And me and Snidler were kind of like tap dancing around, like explaining what explaining what it is. It's like, no, we'll get there.
We'll get there.
Very far down the road.
And months later, here we are.
Yeah, so the whole thing went kablooey, and I guess the leftovers of that other part of the Twin City, the other part of Mainframe, it became Lost Angles.
Yes.
And
you can see a shockwave going through this right now, and it's tossing everyone in the air. The
oh,
window,
right. Yeah.
and we cut to the inside of the principal office, and here's season 4 Dot back in command comm mode, and she wakes up from this nightmare.
Yeah, she was remembering the event. I think that's a tactful way of giving the audience information without hitting you over the head with it.
Right.
Without people just talking.
One thing I do appreciate about the existence of season 4 Reboot, I know a lot of people don't like season 4 all that much. One of the things I appreciate is that season 4 is actually like filling in some gaps, like is filling in, like we're getting backstory. We find out a whole slew of more information that was merely alluded to in previous seasons. Finally getting some resolution to like what the whole like Daemon thing that Turbo was talking about in season 3 was.
It kind of went on hold so they could do other stuff. Yeah,
that Turbo mentioned Daemon and stuff going on with the Guardians.
There were Guardians that attacked them. Yeah,
but it never got explained. So that's one thing I do really like about season 4 Reboot, is that it actually explains all of that stuff.
I know a lot of people didn't like how they looked. Everybody looks a little fat-faced, and it's been years since they did a reboot season. They're really showing off their animation. Like, this is very different than what we've seen. They remodeled them. You can see a lot more shadows and stuff on there. The ray tracing is out the wazoo.
It's all that Hasbro money they got for Beast Wars and Beast Machines.
All that sweet Hasbro money.
It probably was, to be honest, because they were like, they got a shit, like, because even going from Beast Wars to Beast Machines, there was a noticeable jump in animation quality.
Huge jump in animation quality. And
just
we've talked about
in general between 98 and 01, like during that time, like we got the turn of the millennium happening. Everything just kind of goes to the roof.
Mainframe also was at the cusp of like animation quality at the time.
Totally, yeah. Clearly, Mainframe Entertainment's computers survived Y2K.
Thankfully, yeah. And we get a reference because they're in the capital. Sorry, why can't I remember their HQ? Yeah. And there's a map of the world showing like the internet connections or something like that. So this is the first time they've referenced being aware of
the internet.
The internet, even if they don't realize there's a reality outside of it. Because there's a map of the world, and I'm like, hold up. What's that?
A map of the real world.
All they know is the user is somewhere out there. And you know what? I'm starting to think that Bob doesn't intend to find out. I feel like that's really low on the totem pole of things that he wants to find out. How do you guys feel about that?
I think that's going to be one of those questions that kind of, it's an eternal question. It's much like what we humans think of was like, what is my purpose here being alive right now? It's like
we don't know our format. At least Bob does.
Yeah. Christina, you have I believe it was the inaugural issue of Retrofied magazine, which was an oral history of Reboot, and I read it when you came to visit, and it's interviews with so many people involved with Reboot. And if I recall correctly, somewhere in there, one of them actually mentions that there was literally no plan when they came up with the line in the intro of Bob being like, "No one knows for sure, but I intend to find out." There was never any plan for any kind of resolution to that.
Leave us on like the biggest cliffhanger of all time.
But I intend to find out. I like the memes that are like, says he intends to find out, never does.
Yeah, Bob, what are you doing?
Speaking of Bob, we cut to him literally floating towards the principal office. And he's had a
Right.
big old
Angelic Glitch Bob.
Yep. And we all recall he merged with Glitch, and Glitch had flying capabilities. So now Bob and Glitch get to fly together. Yay.
I actually, in this episode, when I was watching it earlier, when Bob speaks, I for a split second, I had forgotten that he had been recast in season 3. So I'm like, oh, right, it's Cheetor. I'm like, oh, yeah, I forgot Cheetor voiced Bob for a while.
If you look
I
at Bob's,
immediately was like, wait a second, Cheetor.
if you look at
Cheetor,
Bob's,
what have you done?
well, if you look at Bob's animation on his face and the detailing with like his scales and stuff, it kind of looks like Cheetor spots.
Kinda, yeah, yeah.
I'm going with that. Yeah.
This isn't going to be the first time in this episode that we reference something Beast Wars related, because there's another cast member from Beast Wars in this episode. Me and Cal on our Beast Wars podcast, Too Much Energon, have a certain take when we do impressions of him.
Just a little.
Just a little bit. So what's going on in the episode?
I thought they were in a game, Andrea
Later.
and Matrix, but they're not.
Mm-hmm.
They're in something we haven't seen before. Like,
Yep.
it's almost like space, but if it was Windows 95.
They're in the throes of the net right now, and they're just kind of
Fighting Guardians on hover bikes?
trying to keep them away from mainframe. Now, Bob is back in mainframe, making a tear into a portal to try and get Matrix and Andrea home, because they're busy
Right.
out in this new sphere of space on bikes, diverting Guardians.
Yeah, we don't quite know what they were doing. They were kind of in the middle of something, but we get the idea that they were either looking for something or stopping them from doing something, but they're fighting Guardians, who we find out a little bit like later. Yeah. And like you said, I think the portal's made to get them back home, but before it closes, a few of the Guardians come through the portal, and they're like
Right.
weird X-wings.
Yeah, back in the main war room, Dot has Fong throw up a map of the net, and she has to put it in 2D. And here's the map thing you were talking about, Cal. You can see parts of it are blue, but a lot of it is green. And that green, as Fong says, Daemon's infection is growing. So now we're learning a little bit more about Daemon and what her MO is.
Only Western Canada is free. Only mainframe was free of free of the Daemon super virus.
Yeah,
Yep.
only the Kitsilano district of Vancouver.
Yeah.
Which is where Kit Sector is named after.
Yep. You know,
We had theorized about that, but it
that
ended up being proven correct.
that's something that Snidler, who is absent from this episode, but of the podcast, but Snidler had mentioned he'd speculated that it was named after Kits, and if I recall correctly, me and Cal were like, "No, it can't be." And it turns out, yeah, it actually was.
No, absolutely, yeah.
The mouse zooms in on this map, and Dot's like, "Are they all right? Are they all right?" And she's like, "No, Sugar, I don't believe they are." And we cut. It looks like Space Invaders almost. You see like two little bikes.
Their version of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like sorry, how
No, go
they're viewing it looks like Space Invaders. Yeah, you're right. I jumped ahead. Before it shows them fighting, the little scanner they have, it does kind of look like Space Invaders. Like it's very simple 2D kind of with the two bikes like firing at attackers.
I was never
So
a fan
what's
of
happening
Space
here?
Invaders when I was younger.
I was a big fan. I have it on the Atari.
You know what Atari 2600 game I really liked though was Pitfall. I fucking
I
loved
don't have
Pitfall.
Pitfall, but I have Yar's Revenge and Adventure.
Yar's Revenge.
You play a fly that shoots at a big thing.
What about Custer's Revenge?
I do not have Custer's Revenge. I don't have E.T. either. I have Adventure, Pac-Man, Midnight Magic, which is like a pinball game.
You remember the famous Atari ET landfill of Atari cartridges? Remember, like throughout the 2000s, like a lot of people thought that the story was bullshit, and then in like 2012 they actually found it and made a documentary about it.
Yeah, I watched that.
Yeah. There was a
Or
time
they were
before-
looking for the landfill.
No, they found it.
Did they actually find it? I thought they found one and they were like, this must be it.
No, they found the landfill because like there was this documentary that was I think it was produced by it was free on the Xbox video store, so I think it was actually produced by Microsoft Game Studios, but it was a documentary, and yeah, they found the landfill that had like thousands upon thousands of ET cartridges. But there was a time for many years on the internet where a lot of people suspected that it was fake news, or like it was just an urban legend.
Right. That's hilarious.
But then they found it.
And here we are today.
Here we are today talking about it on ET on this Reboot podcast.
Apparently it was unplayable. And if you've played Atari games, most of them are.
So I was going to say, that's saying something.
That's really saying something. Like I have Raiders of the Lost Ark. Not even a game there. Anyways, back to our Atari podcast. The quick short of this little chunk of the episode is a few Guardians follow them through. And because they're in mainframe, they try to reopen a portal to the net so all their buddies can come through. There's only a few of them that got through. Mm-hmm. But they're so devoted to what we're going to find out is the word, that they're unafraid of death. They'll do anything to further the Daemon's cause.
And they're not defending themselves when the mainframers start firing on them.
Yeah, they're devoted to getting this portal open.
Yeah, it's a literal suicide mission for those Guardians.
They even, and the cast point that out, and they're like, what the heck? Why? And we'll find out why in a bit. But they already know that they're like corrupted, right?
Yeah. Well, we'll find out that bird is, in fact, the word.
And not only do they manage to actually land, they invade a facility. And for the first time, we're seeing straight up people killing bitches on the show.
Yeah.
They're dead.
We saw people killing bitches in season 3, though.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. Like blood and everything. Yeah. But like not this is a little bit more tragic. Like the mainframers, the CPUs, the cops, they're getting annihilated, like painfully.
Right
deleted.
There. Mm-hmm.
These are no Guardians of mine.
No, and so the Guardians somehow through their shenanigans put mainframe online, and we get Specky being like, "Sir, we're online," and
broadband connection. Yeah, and it's it's not a tear or anything. Or like a portal. It's almost like an actual rip in the sky. Mm-hmm. Like it's like paper ripped off. Kind of cool looking. We usually get energy portals in the show.
Right. But it's like these people
just glass broken.
Yeah, they ripped it open. There's no way of resealing it, as Fong says. And Dot even chimes in with, she's locked the door open.
Oh, good catch. That's why it's weird looking.
Mm-hmm.
Bob being
that's Daemon's MO is she uses the Guardians to enter systems and basically keep the door open, so there's no way for a system to seal itself off to defend itself. So the
Right.
Guardians pour in. I like how Dot like starts like giving out commands, and she looks at Mouse and is like, "Mouse, help!" in this very like desperate
They've
way.
established their relationship really well. It used
Yeah.
to be catty, and then like Mouse could have effed off at any time in season 3, but she
She did.
stayed in mainframe
Mhm.
to help. Like Mouse has come a long way, and put herself on the line quite a bit, and saved mainframe. Well, I don't know, at least twice, because she
Several
closed
times.
off the web originally,
Right.
which is how
Right.
Bob ended up like this. Cheetor Bob.
Cheetor Bob.
Sure.
So speaking of Bob, so Bob, when the Guardians pour in, Bob is like, "Oh no, I kind of like this, them being at odds with one another, because Bob is like, oh, we can't delete them, and Matrix is basically like, fuck them,
Mhm.
fuck
He's
them, we're gonna kill some
so
motherfuckers."
edgy. I kind of like how corny this is, because they're reestablishing the characters, because it's been years since season 3, right?
Mhm.
So they're like kind of like back to the core selves. Like Matrix is gruff and you know, like he doesn't care about killing, and he's got guns and missiles. And Bob is like, hang on now, because he was even it established all throughout the first few seasons that Bob doesn't like killing anyone.
Right. He can reprogram, but he doesn't want to delete.
Deleting, yeah, not killing. Not even viruses. He can't even
Yeah.
bring himself to get rid of Megabyte.
Yeah, it's mentioned many times throughout the show prior to this that Bob has like an ideology where he doesn't like to delete anyone, including viruses.
Mhm.
To mend and defend.
Yep. Not delete and defend.
Yeah, and they make a point of they point that out on the show. And they're guardians, so like there's good in them, but they're corrupt.
Mhm.
Yeah. Hence why all the key tools fucked off. And we find out in this episode that Bob is literally the last guardian.
That's not
Yeah.
corrupted by
That's
yeah.
Yeah.
I guess we're not counting Matrix as a guardian because he never actually went to the academy.
Well, there's that.
Oh,
and
good point.
still in game sprite mode if you look at his icon from the end of season 3.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
That's why when mainframe was rebooted, that's why we got a new version of Kid Enzo, is because his
Oh.
icon was in game sprite mode.
Oh, it didn't detect him. We talked about this. It didn't detect him in the system, and when
Right.
it reformatted itself to a previous version of Windows, previous
Yeah.
version of mainframe, it was like, hey, Enzo's not here.
Yeah, and
Exactly.
because Andrea was a game sprite and wasn't of mainframe, wasn't originally from mainframe, she wouldn't have been in the whatever the last save backup was. Which makes me kind of wonder why Mouse was, though. Because Mouse isn't from mainframe either.
Right.
That's why there's no duplicate of her, right?
Yeah.
Bob too. Bob's not from mainframe, right? But it only duplicated Enzo. That's the theory we're going with, right? Was because it recognized him as a game sprite, not Enzo Matrix of mainframe,
Mhm.
right? That's what the theory we're going with.
Right.
Yes.
I'm just well, I guess I'm wondering now then, like why Andrea wasn't. Why we also didn't get another version of Andrea.
Oh, because it did a backup of before shit started hitting the fan. Windows
Right.
95 backup.
Right. So why did Mouse get because Mouse wasn't really part of mainframe at that point either. So why did a new version of Mouse get backed up?
Oh, I didn't realize Mouse was brought back.
Yeah, she was. Yeah, I don't know. I just now I'm starting to wonder. Yeah, now
Something to
now I'm
ponder.
starting to wonder.
Yeah, wait a second. I missed that because Ray Tracer and Mouse kind of did well, we're gonna die anyway, and they did like a passionate exchange before what they thought was doom.
They went and boned before the end of the world.
They went out with a bang.
Anyway, speaking of going out with a bang, as the Guardians are trying to negotiate with Bob,
His roommate, right?
the Guardians are trying to negotiate with Bob, and Matrix on his bike like flicks a switch, and a comical, like very cartoonish, like Looney Tunes
Oh man,
level of missiles
way
comes out.
more than like missiles coming out of missiles in a blossom, like a
Missiles
dandelion.
on a bike. Air.
Yeah.
And for some reason, Bob's roommate was Graveheart from Shadow Raiders, and they're having peaceful negotiations. Like they're not just coming in and shooting everything. And Matrix does some of the dumbest. Like I'm not on his side with this one. He just shoots them all when they're negotiating with Bob.
Right.
Dude, I mean, we know that they're not going to take no for an answer, but I wanted to see what Graveheart, Bob's roommate, was like, you know?
Yeah, and he well, we're never gonna find out because he dies.
Yeah, he screams and he goes, no!
Matrix,
He's dead. He's straight
like
up dead.
fires this like comical amount of missiles at the Guardians, and we actually see like a bunch of the vehicles explode, and see Bob's old roommate be like, screaming and dying.
Web World Wars again.
I laughed. I fucking laughed. And then, wouldn't you know it, warning, incoming game.
Motherfucking GameCube.
Oh shit.
This episode is everything. Normally, I don't like it when a lot is happening in one episode, but I think the pacing of this episode is well done.
Well, and like you were saying, Cal, like the show's been off the air for a few years at this point, so they're kind of reestablishing everything. So this episode kind of had to have a bit of everything in it,
and they do it well. We'll talk about the game when it comes up.
Oh fuck, this fucking game.
But they don't spend too much time in it. They just remind you of what the games are like, what they need to do. There's probably only like 2 minutes of them being in the game. But the game's coming down, man. What a bad time for the game to come down. And we get reminded that there's a certain Michael the television.
Michael the television.
Coming to you live.
I forgot to mention just like when Bob actually flies up to the Guardians to greet them, little Enzo and Dot are watching on a vid window, and they're like, "Oh, what's Bob doing? Like, what's his plan?" And Dot says something to the effect of like, "Bob has never had a plan in his life. He's making this up as he goes along."
I feel that.
Yeah.
I'm like, wait a second. Does Bob have ADD as well? My partner even like turned and looked at me when that line was delivered by Dot, and I was like, "What? What?"
I am a person who makes many plans. I just don't stick to them very often. I make plans, usually pretty detailed plans too, of like exactly what I'm going to do, when I'm going to do it, and how I'm going to do it. I just don't usually end up things don't end up going the way that I plan. It's one of my big shortcomings, I would say.
I would have to agree with you on that. I do like making plans in great detail, but lack the motivation to execute.
Mm.
Like
I can never let myself down because I never make plans.
Well, maybe folks, this will be our year.
This is exactly. We balance each other out.
Each other accountable.
That's right.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be 2022 is gonna be my year to drop these like 50 pounds that I've put on in the past like 2 years.
This is gonna be my year where I try to put on. Well, man, can you imagine if I put on 50 pounds of muscle?
Yes.
I gotta start now.
And this will be the year that I figure out what I do with my life.
I stopped saying that years ago.
Well, dear Lady Glitch, I have some suggestions, which we've talked about off air, but we won't get into.
Well, how about on air, since this is the first laser comb episode that we're releasing, sorry, that we're recording in the new year. What are our New Year's one New Year's resolution? I think we've just briefly touched upon it. Lose weight.
Yep.
Try to gain muscle. And moving. Is that what we're going with?
Yeah, we'll go with that.
Attainable goals. That's the trick.
I think they're all perfectly attainable.
Those are attainable. Let's do it.
To be even more specific, find myself in Victoria by the end of the year.
I like that plan. Anything I can do to help.
Absolutely.
I'm your man.
All right, we can do it.
Yes. Go team, go.
You can do it. Put your back into it.
That's
yes.
right. Put your mind into it.
uh
Lift with your legs, not your back. All right. So does the Michael the television save anything of use, or does he just say some Mike the TV shit?
Mike the TV shit. And then we cut back to Bob putting Guardian vehicles in like a stasis lock kind of.
Oh, protective like bubbles.
Yeah. So they
can't shoot out, but people can't shoot them either. I like that. That's a Bob move.
Yeah, and now he's trying to negotiate with Matrix about like, stop what you're doing. That's an order. But I think we're at the point now where Matrix and Bob aren't like Matrix isn't showing that same respect to Bob as he used to when he was younger.
He's starting to realize
Matrix is his own person now.
And not only that, yeah, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say that their ideals are a little different.
Mm-hmm.
He's not this grand hero that can like do no wrong. It's, well, wait a second. No, I'm going to do everything I can do in my power to defend my home. You can, be officer friendly as much as you want, but I'm doing what I'm going to do. Mm-hmm. And normally I'm like, oh my God, more whiny Matrix bullshit. But I understand both of them.
Right. And Bob's trying to tell Matrix, here's another order. Stop what you're doing and go and defend that game because we can't afford to lose a sector.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And in that they both agree.
Mm-hmm. And Andrea's like, you heard the man, Sparky, Lego.
I like how after Bob tries to give Matrix an order, I like Matrix's reaction. He's like, an order? He says it in this way, like, who the fuck are you, bud?
And he grimaces. Yeah, he's like, wow, orders now. Okay.
Like, don't tell me what to do, bitch.
Right.
So I like that. And like I've kind of like I've complained about edgy grown up Matrix on the podcast before, but I like that now. Like Matrix is like Cal was saying, like they realize that like they both want the same thing, but their ideals are different. And Matrix has aged out of his hero worship of Bob and is become his own person, truly become his own person at this point. Because even in season 3, when they first find Bob, like Matrix, even as like the grown-up badass renegade, he still had a little bit of that heroic reverence for Bob.
Great character progression, development for all of the characters. I think, and Andrea, it would be nice to see character development from her, but sometimes static characters are already an ideal. Mm-hmm. Right? Like there's nothing wrong with Andrea always being like the Rock, being steady, being open to new ideas, right? She doesn't need to change, much like Superman, Goku, like that static character. They don't have character development because they're already representative of an ideal. I know people don't like that, but I'm okay with some characters being like that. I just wish they fleshed out a journey for her a little bit more.
Yeah, I think I've complained about that on the show in the past. That
Yeah.
Andrea is, I mean, she's like she's a fully fledged character in her own right. But a
She's
lot of the time,
badass.
like she's kind of in the story, she kind of just serves a function of being there to support Enzo.
Mhm.
And I just wish there was a little bit more to her than that.
Than being
But-
badass, yeah.
Yeah.
Are there any Andrea episodes? Themed episodes that where she's not a damsel that's like poisoned?
I'm not sure. I don't think so.
There's at least one in the story arc of Daemon Rising that she's kind of critical in. You'll see that.
There's one coming up. But in the
Yeah.
past, has there been like Andrea themed? She's always kind of been supportive
Yeah.
cast.
Yeah, let me look at the episode list here.
Okay, just something I thought I'd throw out there before
Right.
we continued there. Yeah.
Icons was really good with her because that was the one we see them as adults. No Sprite has gone before their first conflict that we actually see.
Oh, where she sides with right. Okay,
Yeah.
you're right.
Even though that's a terrible episode.
Oh yeah.
Even though it's a
The
terrible
Star Trek
episode,
episode.
she does take a
Yeah.
side.
And then number 7, an episode with No Name, have very Andrea-centric kind of development in both.
You're right. There's some going on there.
Yeah, because if you recall my commentary on number 7 that I, babbled on about, like, I feel like the hexadecimal character that she rebooted into is pretty much her subconscious, and that she wants to branch out into these different kinds of personalities, but because of her programming, she really can't.
But it was all Matrix's dream anyway, so it didn't matter.
So to get back into the episode, after Matrix and Andrea go into the game, we cut away to a place we've never seen before. It's kind
I
of
love this place.
It's kind of
Holy
angelic
cow.
looking.
This is like a majestic, like a cathedral. A cathedral.
It looks angelic, or like how I would imagine like Olympus to look like.
There we go. I was trying to think of like outside of human Olympus, and it's very time themed.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
because we cut to the inside, and there is a pendulum swinging behind Daemon.
And then a World of Warcraft looking motherfucker walks up to her.
And he comes in. He's all like, "Well, now listen here, Daemon. We've got so I gotta this is some cross branding joke of from Too Much Energy on me and Cal's Beast Wars podcast. We if anyone who's listening to this doesn't listen to that show, I can't even remember how it got started, but it's something that kind of just evolved over time. The character on that show, Rhinox, our impression of him, we kind of paint him as like this beer drinking trucker. And so this character here is voiced by the guy who voices Rhinox. So his dialogue is going to be drunk beer drinking trucker.
Yeah, it's gonna be our Too Much Energon is the name of that podcast, and it's gonna be our Too Much Energon Rhinox. He's so boring anyway. Doesn't matter.
so he walks in. He's like, well, listen here, Daemon. I was down driving the pickup truck down to pick up an 18 pack, and well, gosh golly, wouldn't you believe I ran into Guardian 452, some bomb-looking motherfucker.
And we find out Daemon is very French.
Very French.
She is a tiny French chick.
Mm-hmm.
She is like, this is impossible. Show me on the big screen right now.
And we have a really good shot of her face right here. And she's got an hourglass pendant around with a choker around her neck. Kind of hot.
Yeah, whatever she's got going, I dig it. No hexadecimal, but
Mm-hmm.
I really like Daemon's hair color.
Yes,
her hair moves as if they're tentacles.
Mhm.
The seafoam hair.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
like,
as if it's in water or they're like tentacles.
or her hair is just kind of blowing in the wind.
Yeah.
Because all we are is dust in the wind.
All we are is dust in the wind, dude.
Dust,
wind,
dude.
dude. You know what? We reference that movie a lot on the show too.
Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. We should do a commentary track of that on our Patreon.
Deal.
Okay. Yeah.
I got some other movies that I want to do as well. I want to do RoboCop since it's my favorite movie of all time.
That's a joy.
We did talk about
and Highlander. I feel like we got to do a Highlander commentary.
Well, at this point, yeah.
yes.
Yeah. So, listeners, if you want to hear us do movie commentary tracks, go to Patreon. Patreon.com/lasercomb.
So what is so Rhinox lets Daemon know, hey, Guardian 452, Le Bob. He's merged with his key tool. So he'd be the perfect messenger for the bird.
And Damon's like, Sarah, Zoom room and bring my messenger home.
She does say that, right?
And she's before our time. She's already talking about Zoom 20 years before Zoom was invented.
When was Zoom invented? I'm going in.
And
hold my beer.
Ryan, and so Rhinox is like, yeehaw, I think Bob owes me gas money anyway.
Bob, that little motherfucker, he owes me gas money. Bob, what have you done? Oddly enough. 2011. San Jose, California. Zoom.
Gotcha.
Wow, 10 years.
I just want to say I'm very, very, very fond of our beer drinking trucker, Rhinox.
Oh, absolutely.
It's
he gets to make a cameo in ReBoot.
Oh man.
Prepare a Zoom room. Bring my messenger home.
Yeah.
So
and
we're back
music
in mainframe.
continues. Music continues according to the closed caption.
Continues. So we cut to the principal office. They're like, "Uh-oh, what do we do?" Blah blah blah, and we get a glimpse of the game. Siege. Right away, were you thinking GoldenEye 64?
No. I immediately, especially when I saw the tank with the shark in it, I immediately thought of Austin Powers.
Before I thought about that, though, just the world floating, the assets of the chairs and everything. There's a very specific level in GoldenEye 64, and I was like, did they just straight up ask Rare for some of these assets? Because this looks like
Speaking of Rare, actually, and GoldenEye, Cal, this might be of interest to you, even though you don't have an Xbox. An achievement list for a remastered GoldenEye leaked. There are apparently two Xbox Live. I was just reading about this the other day. There were two Xbox Live accounts that are found to have achievements for a remastered GoldenEye, and they're both top level people at Rare. So it's undoubtedly a remastered version of GoldenEye is coming to the Xbox.
Can't wait.
Yay.
And I have an Xbox. Yes.
Hooray! So what? It's not GoldenEye. Much to my dismay, much to my partner's dismay, the shark kind of gives it away.
Yep, it is Austin Powers and Lady Glitch.
Yes.
Have you seen Austin Powers?
Probably back in the day, like way back in the day. So much so that I forgot what it's all about.
So you know how I was just talking about doing commentary tracks for movies for the Patreon in the future? You want to know a movie that I'm never going to suggest we do a commentary track of? Austin Powers, because because I fucking hate Austin Powers. Even back in the day, I fucking hated those movies. And like, you couldn't go like throw a stick and you would hit 10 people doing stupid Austin Powers impressions back in the late 90s to early 2000s. I fucking hate the movie. And
That'll just make me do it more.
I'm legitimately, when I watched this episode, I was legitimately pissed off that they went Austin Powers with the game. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me?
Not only that, so Enzo, little Enzo, Andrea, Matrix, and Frisket are the 4 in the game.
Right.
Yep.
Enzo, he reboots and he's wearing like a little white suit. And Frisket, much like the Goldfinger, like the what are those hairless cats called? Sphinx?
I don't know.
Is he a Sphinx? Frisket?
I don't know that either. He reboots into some Austin Powers bullshit.
A cat. A Sphinx, yeah. And Andrea's just a hot like babe from the 70s. And
I kind of like her look that she's got going.
Matrix is Dr. Evil, and he even which is fitting because he's got the scar already. And he even lifts up his pinky and he's like, marvelous. My partner was like, oh, and like got up to leave.
What I find funny in the dialogue is that little Enzo says alphanumeric, and Big Matrix is like, please say I never said things like that. And little Enzo's like, well, you must have. We're the same. And Matrix just looks at him and is like, we are not the same.
I'm done.
Can you imagine, like, I can't even imagine just how much of a mind fuck that would be to, like, quite literally have a child version of you around. Like,
he needs to be nicer to himself.
Like, and like not like you know, like, oh, your child or something like that, but like literally like you from like, you know, 15 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
That's a mind fuck.
It'd be fucking weird.
It'd be weird.
I didn't have to deal with that.
And it is weird.
Yeah. Although in my case, like, if I had like an 11-year-old version of me running around, he would be so fucking hyped at all of the War for Cybertron Kingdom toys that I have.
Oh yeah,
that's true.
Like show accurate, like looking Beast Wars, modern Beast Wars toys.
It's like 11-year-old you, kid in a candy store over it. 37-year-old you, still a kid in a candy store over it.
Yeah, it's funny how that works.
Yeah, and I got to witness that. It was great.
Yeah. We went
to Toys R Us, and he literally ran over to the Transformers aisle, and it was beautiful.
Elbowed an old lady out of the way.
Quite literally, he like ran over a little kid to get over there.
Yeah, risky business, slid into the aisle.
Did some like Ong back like style, like leaping over like shelves and stuff,
and people holding like glass panes and
knocking people bags of presents.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Inexplicably jumping through like a ring of barbed wire or something.
Yeah. When Christina was up here in Victoria, we went to Toys R Us, which, yes, American listeners, Toys R Us still exists in Canada. So we went to Toys R Us, and I ended up finding over in the Transformers section, I spotted a War for Cybertron Kingdom Tigatron figure, which I'd been looking for. So I was really hyped that I spotted it. And then
we looked a little deeper, and we saw 2 of them.
Well, and then I saw another one, so I got 2 of them. One for myself, which I have behind me right here. Audio listeners, I'm holding up the figure. So I grabbed one for me. I grabbed one for Cal, and then I texted my friend and coworker Duncan, and who's also really into Transformers. He's been on our Beast Wars podcast before. I texted him and told him about it, and kind of hid the one that was remaining like behind some Cyclonus figures.
Amazing.
And he even commented to me when I saw him at work a few days later. He's like, oh yeah, I found it. It was like hidden in the back. I found the last one there. It was like hidden in the back behind a bunch of Cyclonuses. I'm like, yeah, I put it there.
Amazing.
Nice.
Yeah.
So you may have saved saved the day and gotten it for him.
Yeah, and also, like, what was pretty hype too is he's a Voyager class figure, and if you're a listener and don't give a shit about Transformers, we'll move on from this soon. But he's a Voyager class figure, which in Canada normally have a price point of $40, but they were on sale for $31. They just happened to be on sale. Oh, and Cal's opening up his Tigatron.
Ah, shit.
Don't mind me.
It was a belated Christmas gift. Had I found it when we recorded the Christmas themed episode of Alphanumeric, I would have given it to him then. But I think I found it literally the next day.
You did, yeah.
Yeah.
He's locked in carbon nanocarbon.
He's in the CR chamber.
Yeah, he's in the CR chamber right now.
Yeah, he had a rough battle with Scorponok. He got cross-country missiled, so he's needing to be restored.
Yeah, we can't all ride those missiles like Dinobot. So my favorite character shows up in ReBoot.
Yeah, Bob falls out of the sky because he shoots off another blast and he's running out of energon, and he just goes meow towards the energy sea.
And who catches him? Hexadecimal.
Right.
I like that. We've talked about this like 20 times, but like the show doesn't stick to like gender like roles. And I really dig it how like she's protective of Bob. Like she's catching it. I think more men are caught like damsels in distress than women are on the show. Maybe I'm wrong about that, but I feel like men are often caught in open arms by women on the show than vice versa.
One thing I love about ReBoot is that there are no weak women. Like the women are just as, if not more, badass than any that are in this series across any season.
Yeah, I agree.
Like they do have their moments. Like in season 3, we have a lot of dot development, a lot of emotions going on, but she evolves herself through that. It just becomes far more stronger with every, encounter, every episode.
Yeah, I agree. And here we get Hex. She's been helped. She's on Guardian meds so that her extreme highs and extreme lows are quite present. They're in check, and she's, I don't want to say like normal because there's nothing wrong. I didn't think there was anything wrong with her, but she just needed help, and she got it. And
well, I've talked before that I get some BPD energy as someone who has borderline personality disorder.
Yeah, she is on Guardian meds.
I get some BPD energy from Hexadecimal.
And she's kind of runs a finger along, and she's all like, how about you and I, you need some downtime, and why don't we go down together? And I'm like,
Heyo.
You got yourself a deal, lady.
And
but no,
she has him like in her arms, like sitting in like a park bench. I like how Dot like vid windows in and is like, what the fuck?
When right after they kiss. Yeah, they kiss, guys.
Yeah.
Let's not skim over that. Well, she kisses him.
And Dot vid windows in and is like what the fuck? I like how Bob is just like
gotta go.
Hang on, and hangs up on her.
Gotta go, and hangs up, and she's like, hey, wait, and leaves. And I'm like, ooh, drama.
But before that, something falls from the sky from that tear that's in the system, and it's
a blue cube. Like
a blue cube actually comes down and scoops up Bob. And Mike the TV is actually already on the scene doing his Mike the TV bullshit.
Did
trying
you
to figure
catch
out what's the plan. And this thing comes down and scoops up Bob, and Hex is like, hang on a second. And she uses Hex powers and brings Bob back.
Yeah, she's like, wait a moment. She's like, that was kind of rude. And she just does like a weird red flash. And Bob is where Michael the television was standing. And we find out that she switched their places. Because that blue cube teleports Mike the TV into to Daemon's cathedral,
Yep.
where he's rightfully scared.
He's like, am I deleted? Deleted? No, you are in the supercomputer.
You are in the supercomputer where everyone speaks French.
Your French is better than mine, so go nuts.
I have practiced playing a French woman in a LARP. So
okay.
my terrible French accent, I've had some time to work on.
Yeah, it's all you. I'm not the only compliments I've received for my attempts at accents have been Lady Glitch actually complimenting my German accent that I did on one episode.
See, yeah.
And that apparently is the only good accent I can do, or a very stereotypical like Italian plumber type accent.
We should have played that up more. I even did like the rap, but it was off air. And so what happens here? She's like, won't you tell me all about Zebub? And she like
Zebub.
gracefully like tippy toes like the floor, and like green energy like corrupts him. And he's like, I've seen the Lord, and the Lord is the word, and the word is the bird. And he is corrupted.
Well, everybody has heard about the bird.
Mm-hmm.
Bird is the word.
What I find funny is Mike the TV is like, you're Daemon, aren't you? And she's like, yes, did you expect something else? And
where are the teeth, the tentacles, and the
things.
Spikes? Yeah.
And the talons.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like I was expecting you to be this like terrifying monster like Megabyte, not some hot French chick.
Yeah,
so when
virus.
She's like, come, tell me all about mainframe and Zebub, and we shall walk together. And we can still do the tourist thing. And as they're walking, they cast shadows, but her shadow is of a web creature.
Is it?
It's tentacles moving and shit.
Isn't it her hair?
It seems just like her hair, but you can't see any other features except like the tentacles.
All right, give me a second. I'm looking at
by the way, she's like, come, let's take a walk together, Michelle. She calls Mike the TV Michelle.
Yeah, that is her hair. So
yeah, I'm on the video now.
It looks very web creature-ish for me, but that's just because the whether purposeful or not, the shadow is being cast directly from above her, and her hair is very big and wavy. And so it looks kind of like the shadow, because you can't see her feet or her arms, is just kind of like tendrils moving. I thought it was cool.
I see what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah. It's not like a different shadow than her, but I liked it. It's this little subtle. It's subtle.
It's evocative.
Yeah. There we go. So we get to go into the game with the frickin' sharks.
Jesus Christ.
With the lasers. And there's Austin Powers adjacent music playing, because Andrea's going to go look for the user. And it's straight up Austin Powers jumping up and down on a bed. Being like, yeah, baby, have you come to get your mojo on with me? And she's like, oh my God, are you kidding?
It's like, this is the user? Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, this is this is pretty fucking cringeworthy for me.
Oh, I see my com
as I mentioned,
working, baby. Yeah. I make you? Do I turn your transistors on, baby? And he's wearing like a button that says
1969.
1969. Nice.
This is the one time I will not say nice after 69, just because I hate it. I hate it so much.
Luckily, they immediately cut away.
Yeah.
It's just like a 20-second scene, and they cut away.
And this is one thing I've noticed about the games in season 4, as few and far between they're just there. They're not an overarching theme for a full episode. they're just kind of like eating up time a little bit.
They're important to the story, but the contents of the game are not.
Right.
Which I think is the right way to go about this, because we're more invested on mainframe right now than the individual games.
Right.
So if that's the theme that they handle for the rest of season 4, I think that's a smart choice.
Well, if we're to believe that the entirety of the internet is infected with this Daemon virus, then presumably the user doesn't really have time to play a lot of games, because he's
because they're installing McAfee.
People have bigger problems to deal with than just sit around and play games all
Their
the time.
Keyboards are going French. YouTube only plays in French. It's a nightmare.
What was that virus that like fucked like so many people's computers back in the early 2000s? What was it, like MS Blaster or something?
I can't quite remember, but there was a slew of 2000s viruses that were not fun.
He's
going in, folks.
I'm looking it up.
Lady Glitch, we get some massage, some alone time with.
Oh, absolutely.
With Hex.
And Hex is like, oh, honey, you're a bundle of knots. I
love that, because he's stressed. He's running out of energy, because it's presumably more energy to put the Guardians in capsules than it is to just blow them up.
Right, and we also have to remember that he merged with a broken key tool, so there's a chance that he could not be, consistently at full power because of that key tool.
He drains himself doing this a lot. I liked it when she's massaging him, because she still has like viral talons.
Yes.
Right.
He glows like translucent for like a few seconds. Much like when it showed the binomes and stuff being low on power, they start to fade.
Yeah.
So she's like massaging him and she's digging her nails in too much, and he kind of like flashes like in almost transparent like a couple times, and I'm like, oh, she's getting a little rough with him, huh?
And I thought you said you're going to help, and she's like, help you, and this is helping, isn't it?
And he's like, well, like, it is, Hex. And he's very nice to her. Like, the one thing I've liked about Bob is he's never just told her to fuck off.
Right.
He's not rude to people, right? Yeah. And he's like, I understand that, Hex, and it is helping, but all of mainframe's in danger right now, and I need to go help. And she's like, well, would it help you if they
would it help you? Would it help you if I made the Guardians fuck off? And he's like, well, yes, it would. And she's like, okay. And
okay.
He leaves.
All right.
And he's like, but Hex, you can't kill any of them. And she's like, okay.
So if they all went away, it's like, yeah.
So
like, okay, wait here.
So the MS Blaster was a computer worm that spread on computers running operating systems Windows XP and Windows 2000 during August 2003. The worm was first noticed and started spreading on August 11th, 2003. The rate that it spread increased until number of infections peaked on August 13th. Once a network was infected, it spread more quickly within the network because firewalls typically did not prevent internal machines from using certain ports. Filtering by ISPs and widespread publicity about the worm curbed the spread of Blaster. In September 2003, an 18-year-old from Minnesota was indicted for creating the B variant of the Blaster worm. He admitted responsibility and was sentenced to an 18-month prison term in January 2005. The creator of the original worm remains unknown. Yeah, so I remember that was a big fucking deal back in the early 2000s. Like, even my computer got it. And like, I'm usually pretty careful about the kind of sites that I go to and take care of my computers. But
my friends, a couple of my friends got it too, and it's like, Jesus.
And what it would do, if I recall correctly, what it would do is it would make your computer crash like every few minutes. you would get like a thing that came up that says like say MS Blaster, your computer will restart. And
some sort of loop that made it crash.
just
Yeah.
yeah, like you could only have your computer on for a few minutes and then it would make your computer restart.
Oh wow.
It was really, really annoying.
Did you try deleting System 32?
.exe. Just make sure you delete the Windows folder, the Windows system folder.
Yeah. What another line by Hex before we move on from this little scene here. Another line from Hex is she's like, "Oh, Bob, you've been working so hard. You need some downtime. We could go down together." And I'm like, "Woo, Hex's
Right.
Hex is on it.
she's going for it."
Mm-hmm. So Hex is gonna go and tell the other Guardians to fuck off, and we go back into the GameCube where Andrea finds the user and just like tosses him at Matrix.
Oh yeah, she just dragged his ass over to
Mm-hmm.
I kind of dig bald Matrix.
Um,
I love that his only line is like, "That's the user? This loser? What happened to his pants?" And she's like, "Don't ask." And I'm like, wait, he had pants on when we last saw him.
yes, he did. And
Mhm.
Matrix just shoots him and ends the game.
Yep.
Thank
And
God.
Thank God.
With a golden gun. By the way,
One-shot kill. The
one
man
shot
with the
kill,
golden gun.
baby.
Point
And
blank
then,
range.
it's a good thing that the game ended when it did because Odd Job came in with proximity mines and was about to fuck some motherfuckers up.
Man.
Referencing GoldenEye.
Yeah. Yeah, and somebody's playing Jaws and clipping through the ceiling, and they're just going.
Yeah, just just doing the karate chop. Yeah. And then, oh shit, Gordon Freeman shows up with his crowbar and just starts like hacking away like violently, and then fucking Master Chief like swoops in on a Banshee and
Oh yeah, just starts killing people. Doom guy is there. Why not bring?
and BJ Blazkowicz from Wolfenstein. God, this would actually be a hype game. It'd be better than the game that's going on here.
Oh, if it was just every shooter protagonist.
Yeah, if it was like James Bond from GoldenEye, it was Master Chief, it was Doom Guy, BJ Blazkowicz, like Master
Serious
Chief,
Sam.
like, Serious Sam. Why not? Why not? Gordon Freeman,
fucking Duke Nukem,
the chick from Portal.
Yeah, what was her name? Chell. Something.
Hell,
like
yeah,
that.
that sounds right.
Oh, one cool thing that I noticed in the game, when the game zooms back up, it takes out a whole bunch of vehicles.
Because suction kind of.
I don't know if we've seen that. Yeah, because when you touch the edge of the GameCube, you get deleted.
Yep.
It's always shown us that, but it's never shown it like deleting and blowing stuff up as it's ascending back into the
They
shouldn't sky.
They shouldn't have been standing there.
Yeah, it's their fault.
Exactly.
How dare you dogfight over the game? Yeah, and then Hex uses her Magneto powers.
Mm-hmm. And then
Keeps her word.
Mouse comes flying in on ship, and she like launches these kind of like, I guess, stabilizers almost to the hole where the game descended through.
Yeah, there are a bunch of like almost they embed themselves in the sky, which I didn't realize was a physical object.
Yeah, and what we see here, Hex takes all of the Guardian dudes, it's like, go away, throws them through it. And these little things that Mouse launched through, it's almost like a screen. It's like a grid to seal up and patch up that hole in the sky.
Yeah, there's a gold flash and it closes.
A giant piece of digital duct tape, if you will.
Yeah.
Yes, flex tape.
Meanwhile, Michelle is Michael the television is torturing Daemon because he's like, and for the low price of $99.99. Did I mention that I'm a close friend of Bob?
Several hundred times.
I loved that. It's just like, you know what? Now you get tortured by mainframe. Enjoy.
And then Rhinox comes in and is like, well, goddamn, Daemon, I lost that Bob, motherfucker. The system's closed. I failed you.
I'm sorry, lady. And she's all like, oh, that is okay. He's like, wow, really? You ain't so bad. Cheers.
Sweet. You Mr. TV guy. What they call you again? Michelle? Weird name for a television.
Weird name for a dude, but my name's Rhinox.
Throw me a beer, damn it.
Yeah, and what's the resolution here? She's like, he's like, hey, you know what, Daemon? It wasn't Bob that did it. It wasn't Cheetor. It was I don't know, some virus, some lady named Hex.
And Mike's just like, oh, that's hexadecimal. She's mad.
She's quite mad.
You never know her? Oh, come on. I used to live with her.
We were roommates. In
the non-biblical sense, of course.
I love that.
Which I found funny that he actually made that joke on a kid's show.
Yeah.
It's like a kid is not going to know what that means.
Yeah. Roommates.
We lived together, but we didn't bone. You see.
We promise. And that makes me think they did? Because why would he need to point that out?
There was that one time where Hex got really, really drunk.
And she was like, come here, you stupid little man. It's canon. Alphanumeric has made it canon.
All right.
We boned at least once.
Yep.
Both of them were just like, what would this be like?
Mike is like playing porno music.
Right.
But he's just mouthing porno music.
I was just gonna say, he's just going,
while they're doing it.
Wow, wow. And she's like, Michael, shut up. Yes, ma'am.
That's actually not a bad Hex impression.
I you know what? I've listened to myself on the show and I'm like, I'm not terrible at doing a Hex impression. Please call me mommy.
So
never said that in my life.
And you never will again.
And I never will again.
Until the next episode of Alphanumeric.
Inevitably.
So Hex goes back to Bob, who is being treated by some doctor binomes.
Something weird happens.
Yeah, her icon, which she mentioned earlier, she has a sprite icon, a PID. That's right. Yeah.
Doesn't it look pretty?
But it starts like glowing and doing something, and it's like starts spreading her, and she all over her, and she starts turning like white. And then the nulls like flip the fuck out and then dogpile onto her.
I like the line. She's like, "Oh, huh, that's weird. It's spinning. I didn't know it'd do that. Huh,
It tickles.
Bob, should it do that?" He just looks at her and he's like, "Help." The lines are delivered really well.
Yeah, the way she says like, "Bob, help."
Yeah, it just looks up.
Yeah. Yeah, and the nulls like dogpile onto her, and then we cut back to the principal office, and
love this.
And so it's like, what's a nullzilla? And Fong is holding up a DVD, straight up a DVD case
of ReBoot.
Like Enzo, this.
So I have it paused on the back of the DVD case. So the back of the DVD case says, "All good things must come to an end," with an exclamation mark. It has a real UPC code on it, which, according to Wikipedia, is actually the legit, like, actual UPC code for season 4 of ReBoot on DVD.
Oh shit. Amazing.
So it says, "Returning from the wastelands of the..." Can't make it out because of Fong's finger. Our heroes find themselves in what once was their beautiful home. Some of it's kind of obstructed. Stormy skies and collapsed buildings for Mainframe continues as they reunite with their family and friends, overcome personal demons, and find themselves face to face with their old enemies, Megabyte and Hexadecimal. This is just straight up like a synopsis for like the end of season 3 of ReBoot.
Yeah, I dig that. And we get some intel that this is pre Nullzilla Enzo, because he's like, what's a Nullzilla? Because they had to do a full reboot of the system, right? So
they had to reboot, eh?
It's an early they had to do a reboot of reboot.
It has to be before Talent Night, because when he upgrades, his jersey changes. He's still with 0-1.
You're right.
So this is like super duper young Enzo.
This is young Enzo, yeah.
Season 1 Enzo. Good catch. I didn't even notice.
Enzo. So the last time, from what I know on the show, when she was corrupted, the Nulls covered her to try to prevent this this web virus from getting out. And so there's something happening to her, presumably. Man, this threw me for a loop double ways. It was like a double twist. M. Night Shyamalan double twist. Not only are they covering her again, Nullzilla, one of our favorite episodes, but Nibbles escapes.
And Hack and Slash are still chasing him around.
And Megabyte, they even addressed, they're like, wait, they still look after Nibbles? And Megabyte revealed to the viewer that it was
his father.
Presumably, he said, oh, father. I think he said that, right?
He did, yeah. He's like, there you are, father.
And now the mini Nullzilla talks.
Yeah.
And the voice is familiar.
Yeah.
So the voice says, daughter, help me.
That's fucked up. That's scary.
Yeah, and people in the war room are watching on, and Enzo, both Enzos, and Dot,
like,
oh shit, and we're very quickly revealed that it's their dad, Wellman Matrix. I'm still wondering where the fuck their mom is in all of this, but yeah, maybe we'll find out. No, we won't.
Oh, there's no MILF Matrix.
Dang. It just looks like Dot with like Dot in her 40s.
And
Cal's like, sign me up.
I find that horrifying. The daughter, help, like in excruciating pain kind of thing, and I'm like,
yeah, it's it's kind of nightmare fuel.
That's the correct term. Nightmare fuel.
Yeah, because
I have a big issue. Go ahead.
No, you go. You go.
I have a big issue with body horror and like things taking over my body and like losing myself to like an entity. For instance, The Thing. John Carpenter's The Thing. Fucking terrifies me. Like, how much of you is left conscious while your body is being controlled by another? Absorbed. Literally absorbed.
What about alien symbiotes like Venom and Carnage?
From what it seems to me is that you get to keep your mind there. There's just another guy in your head like interfering.
Yeah,
that's less scary.
Except for the whole eating human brains part, because when you have a symbiote attached to you, it's a thing you got to do.
Right.
Other than
they
that,
force you to do that. Yeah.
Yeah. Other than that, I'd be kind of okay with it. I'll be like, give me, all right, black tar suit, like cover my body and give me superpowers.
I forgot about the human brains thing.
Yeah, it's actually it's a plot point in the second Venom movie, which is significantly better than the first one. And the first one's all right, but the second one's actually legitimately pretty rad.
I'm shocked.
And this made me happy because this is a thing. I read Venom solo comics in the 90s when I was a kid, around the time I was watching this show. But it was a plot point in the comics at the time, and they adapted it for the new Venom movie, Venom: Let There Be Carnage. That it's a specific chemical that the symbiotes need to feed on that is found in human brains, but it's also, I can't remember what it's called. And this is actually a thing, but it's also found in chocolate.
Hmm.
So so Eddie and the symbiote come to the understanding that he, instead of eating human brains, because Eddie doesn't want to do that, understandably, he eats like an insane amount of chocolate bars.
That's wholesome. I like that.
Yeah, that's a thing from the comics in the 90s, and it's a thing that's a plot point in the new Venom movie.
So you can eat one brain every few days, or just fucking like super load on chocolate every day.
There's also another bit in that movie where they have pet chickens in case this Venom wants to eat those, but they instead of actually eating them, because Venom doesn't really like chickens, they end up just keeping them as pets. So he has a couple of chickens just wandering around his apartment.
That's kind of wholesome.
Yeah, the Venom: Let There Be Carnage, highly recommended. That movie is a lot of fun.
Awesome. So what's the last? I think what happens after nightmare fuel body horror? What's his name? Sorry.
Wellman Matrix.
Wellman Matrix like screams, "Daughter, please help me!" Everyone's shocked in the episode.
And then the screen goes black and we end the episode. Although in the Canadian version, we just loop right into Crossroads, which is episode 2 for us down in the States.
Right.
So for me, I get an end credit scene, and you guys get the next chunk of the movie.
Yep. I am watching this on Crave, which is a Canadian streaming service. It does have them split up into individual episodes.
Yeah. And I have a profile on Christopher's Crave. Yeah, so I do am watching him on Crave.
Yeah, it occurred to me a little while ago. I'm like, I subscribe to like all of these streaming services, like, and it occurred to me a little while ago. I'm like, why don't I just like start sharing these, like when I can have like multiple users? Why don't I just start sharing them with people I care about?
Well, yeah, thanks. I think Lady Glitch is in on one of your
my Apple One membership. I have an Apple One family plan, which it's like I can have like I think 6 people on it, and I'm like I'm already paying for it anyway, and it gives me like Apple Music, Apple TV Plus, extra iCloud storage. I'm like, why don't I just like start sharing that with people?
You're gonna need to help me with that because you shared your Christmas playlist with me, and I cannot get the full songs to download. It's just the previews.
Oh, weird.
Yeah, I don't know if it's because my phone is almost out of storage to get them into my system or not, but you can help me.
You should be able to stream them, but we'll figure that out off air.
We'll figure it out.
So
anyway, that's the end of the episode.
That's the end, and I think here on Alphanumeric we have a rating system.
Yeah, we do.
We do have a rating system. Let's see if I can remember what it is.
Oh, so, do you want? Okay, I'll let you.
Okay, so we have a 4-tier rating system on this Alphanumeric, the world's foremost reboot podcast. It ranges from this is bad, very bad, which is bottom of the barrel, worst episodes, the high codes, if you will, of reboot, to what's the next one?
I don't think so.
I don't think so, which is episodes that are bad but not very bad.
They're not offensively bad.
That was easy enough, which are the ones that are good, not great. And Alphanumeric, the top of the top, the cream of the crop, the Macho Man Randy Savages, if you will, of reboot episodes.
Did I really used to say that?
So, Lady Glitch, what are you giving Daemon Rising on the alphanumeric scale?
I'm going to give Daemon Rising a strong, that was easy enough. there is a lot going on in this episode that's going to, like we mentioned, answer questions from past episodes that we've had, give more detail as to how Mainframe was developed and possible more character development. We finally get our answers to what is Daemon? Who is Daemon? What is her MO? Like, what the fuck is she doing?
Why is she
is Daemon?
French?
Yeah.
Why is Daemon? Where is Daemon? All of these have been answered.
And I just think like it's a strong start to what season 4 is potentially going to be giving us from many different aspects. So it's a strong, that was easy enough for me.
All right, Cal, what are you gonna say about this episode?
Maybe it's just because I haven't watched it in a while, but it touched on everything. It revisited the characters. So, you know, it's like, hey, this is what Bob is like. This is what Hex is like. This is what Mike the TV is like. Just enough. This is Mouse. This is Dot. This is Specs. Right? It's got a little bit of a game. It reveals Daemon. I actually don't think how they could have done better. So it gets an alphanumeric rating from me.
Oh shit!
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, someone
maybe I'm
had.
biased because 2 characters kissed for, was it the first time, or has she laid one on him before? Has
She
Hex
probably-
kissed? It feels like she's kissed him before.
Listeners, let us know in the comments.
Yeah. So maybe I'm biased because there was some Hex
Oh.
action going on.
Mega Frame. No, wait, that was Mouse and Bob. My bad. Sorry. I suck. I'm sorry.
She kisses Bob kisses the ladies on the show. What can we say?
Bob's the Bob's the star, right? It's got to be done.
Yep.
So
How about you, Steve? Got it.
I'm going to go with a middle of the road. That was easy enough. The episode was fine. I hated the game. Hated the game a lot. So that was that whole. It doesn't take up like a ton of the episode, but that was kind of torture.
You
for
were
me to watch.
spared from
I
a
better
whole episode about the game.
I better not be too harsh about this because someone is liable to go and downvote every video on the YouTube channel, which I haven't actually addressed on air, but that's a thing someone actually did. Every episode that I was part of, after I shit talked the,
They don't have a problem with us. They have a problem with you, Siege.
there have been 2 episodes of Alphanumeric that I have not been on, and they were the only ones that whoever this person is did not downvote after I shit talked the season 3 finale. So big fuck you to that person.
Got too much time on your hands. Let it go.
From the heart. They
Oh,
even
now you're asking
downvoted
for it.
they even downvoted our Christmas episode, which I really liked. Our Christmas episode.
Our Christmas episode was fucking bomb. Like, fuck this person.
How dare.
And they downvoted the last episode of Alphanumeric, the Bob Buckley interview.
Wow.
Yeah,
How
so
dare indeed. So they're not only did they get angry and downvote everything, they're coming back every week.
yeah,
and-
which
and
that
downvote.
that's the truly baffling thing to me.
So they're a
It's a
dedicated anti-fan.
Wow.
Anyway,
Cool.
kind of a bit of a segue there, but yeah, so I didn't like the game, but it's nice to come back to ReBoot. I like the backstory that we're getting.
You get to know who Wellman is.
Well, we hear him say in a very horrifying fashion, "Daughter, help me." I like so far I like Daemon as a villain. She's interesting.
Interesting. Yeah.
She's
Not your typical villain in previous episodes.
yeah, right.
She's cute.
Yeah.
Looks innocent. And can still kick your ass.
She just wants to spread the bird. Ask people, have they heard?
Yeah, so it's mostly the game that just drags the episode down for me.
Nothing but bonus points for me, baby. Yeah.
So yeah, middle of the road. That was easy enough.
Stay tuned for our Austin Powers commentary, patrons.
Yeah,
Yeah, sure.
Anyway, that was episode 44 of Alphanumeric. We'll be back next week, episode 45, where we'll be talking about the second episode of season 4 of Reboot. What is that one called? Crossnodes.
Crossnodes.
So keep an eye out for that. Best way to support the show, go to Patreon. I mentioned it earlier, but gonna tell you again. Patreon.com/lasercomb. LAZORCOMB. Starting at the $5 and up tier, you get bonus preamble audio of us kind of shooting the shit before we start recording these shows proper. And you also get a monthly commentary track, which we've talked about a little bit here and there in this episode of this podcast. There's also a $10 tier, which gets you our weekly news and current events program, Lasercomb Tonight. It also gives you the ability to pick a show for me and Cal to review a random episode of on our podcast, the Lasercomb Podcast. Mm-hmm. So we're in January here. We're about to, at the time of recording, we're probably going to do that episode tomorrow. But we're going to be dedicating an entire month to Patreon pitch shows. We're starting off with the X-Files, and we've got a whole slew of other very, very diverse choices. So keep an eye out for that. Patreon.com/lasercomb. Social media, you can follow the show proper on Twitter at ALPHANUMERICPod, or you can follow me at Lasercomb, LAZORCOMB. Lady Glitch, you're on Twitter, correct?
I am Lady Glitch 619.
And Cal, you are also on Twitter, yes?
I am NeoCal, NEO_KAL.
So go and give us all a follow. You can also go to Facebook, facebook.com/lasercomb. Once again, LAZORCOMB, central hub for this and all of the various other podcasts that we podcraft. As I mentioned, we'll be back next week with episode 45 of Alphanumeric. And until then, I've been Christopher Siege.
And I'm NeoCal.
And I'm Lady Glitch.
And until next time, stay Frosty the Snowman. It's not Christmas time anymore, but it works.
Yeah, I like that. Stay Frosty the Snowman. Why not?
Stay Frosty the Snowman.
Michelle, what do you mean you only have 69 channels? I ordered the premium package.
69? Well, goddamn, I better grab me a beer. And
you know what, Mikey? You're a pretty cool guy.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye.